I think we are good to go. Can everyone in chat hear me? I'm going to take that as a yes, even though I got no yeses so far. But yeah, we are MUME Talk 27 today. All right, the Jazzry can hear us. That's all that matters. It doesn't
Shout
matter.
out Jazzry.
No one else needs to hear this. Yeah, MUME Talk 27 today. We don't have a guest this week. We're working on getting Manway. He has not responded to my last email, so I'm going to bug him again pretty soon. But for today, we're going to actually just take it pretty low-key. It's going to be pretty chill. But before we get into anything else, because we don't have to guest to introduce, let's get into some of the community stuff real quick, because there's been a lot of activity with the community. And actually, did you guys ever play like WoW or League of Legends or anything in the early days?
I played a little bit. I was a broke college student when World of Warcraft came out, and they did an open beta, which was free, and which blew our mind. Just
back in the day,
World of
before
Warcraft itself blew our mind. Yeah, and it was free, and we were like, "Wow, it's incredible." And then when they closed the beta to actually formally launch the game, they wiped all accounts. So I was just like, "Screw it!" So I never played again.
Yeah.
Which is probably the best thing that ever happened to me.
Honestly, you're not wrong.
I saw the South Park episode of World of Warcraft where they're playing World of Warcraft, which happened to be one of my favorite ones at the time because it was so close
that's
to
one of the best That's one of the best South Park episodes. I think.
I think one of the reasons the reason I brought it up that is one of the things those games did really well in the beginning phase is they were like super big into community involvement the entire time. So like every week they would have like all over their client, like the front of their client, they would have like community submissions of like people making like dolls and paintings and music and animations,
the cosplay shit.
And it was all like, I mean, some of it was really good, some of it was not so good, but like, man, it was just, the cosplay shit, exactly. I don't know, I love that. I wish we did more of that from you, making t-shirts and stuff. Anyway,
I agree, man. I agree, yeah. And the people, we have the energy, man. Every time I check the Discord, there's people just coding and prompting AIs and making art and shit. And I mean, we had Orlan's amazing music last week, so
exactly.
The community is there. The community is there.
Community is there. So in order to start things off here, right, we've got a link from our friendly neighborhood Sheeplord Baka, who's got a new newbie guide for us. Let me pull this up here real quick.
Wow, he is on a roll.
He's out of control. He's a machine. He's the hardest. He's the hardest working man in Middle Earth.
Yeah. Put this here. All right. There we go. That should be showing up right now. So yeah, we got this newbie guide to cities and settlements. So it's basically going on about where you're going to start, what the justice system is like, where Sauron's forces lives. Ooh, this is cool. I've seen this part. And so he talks about trolls and black Numenorians. Oh, and it goes over like what all the symbols on the map mean, like C equals Lothlorien and stuff, which I know I was confused about that early on. I was like, what's going on with this map?
Is that supposed to be like Karas-Galathon or something?
Exactly. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, but like when you just see a C on a map, you're like, what is... Anyway. So this goes in depth about what it's like dealing with cities in MUME. This is freaking amazing.
It's good. It is we got to figure out a way that every single person who creates an account, every new user should be connected to this stuff somehow.
Exactly. This is amazing.
We're failing as a game and community by not doing that.
But honestly, this stuff... See, this is what I'm thinking we should do with stuff like this. Every time a new submission like this comes out, we should have a weekly... You know how we have news posts for in-game news? We used to have, like, news posts for out-game news, right? Like, it was the something other board or web news or something. This should be all over the main page, I think.
Totally. I want to build it into Mapper, dude. I want, when you log in, I want there to be a little... a community tab in Mapper, and we put the latest podcast on there. We put all these links and shout out,
and also another thing that's so great about this here. We're gonna go to Ardwolf right here real quick. One of the things that has always jumped out to me whenever I'm looking at one of these other games, like I've visited, the MUD websites, is they'll usually have some section where it's like the news section, and I don't know where it is here. Players online.
No, but
it'll be like say like recently updated like 2 days ago or a day ago, and you're like, oh my god, this is actively, people are doing stuff. Like, I want to be involved in this. Versus like, there's nothing worse than like, this is like what, like 4 years ago? Like, you know, that's
I know. With other mods, the community is the game.
Yeah.
And MUME is kind of special in how the game is like this lofty, you know, pure thing up on a mountain, and you know, humble players climb the mountain to seek the game, which is probably why we all love it, because it's just so hardcore and such a high bar and a well-crafted game. But you're right. I mean, it's if somebody randomly landed on MUME, they would not see any of the community. They would not see the enthusiasm in the Discord. They wouldn't see the attractive podcast hosts that we have. They would not see the excellent guides. I mean, it's just completely disjoint, right? It's completely disjoint.
We need to find a way of maybe I'll talk to Jahar, see if we can like if there's a way that we can easily update the website. I could like take over for just making sure that stuff gets pumped out every week, because right now I have not been I push out the podcast episodes on Facebook and Reddit, but honestly we should be pushing out this stuff more so. Like anything that's community, we should be moving a lot of the Discord stuff into the, because Discord's not publicly available. Like you can't just find that when you're looking for the game. That stuff needs to be somewhere visible to Google, basically. My Twitter question of the week is, does sitting down while smoking a pipe in MUME affect its potency or effects? Ooh, good question, Nuzo. Does it? I was always told it does.
But not sitting. Not sitting, resting. But yeah, you need to be resting. So
Are you serious? Wow.
I am serious. So so what you do is you make your alias for pipe is wheeled pipe, rest, smoke, stand, wheeled weapon. That should be your alias.
Nuzo's got kind of a cool idea here. He says we should make a Twitter question of the week. So what if we had like we sourced questions from the community, one per week, and then we just like we found the answer one way or another. Like it's like, does
oh yeah,
can you misport as a BN into a puke town? And answer, we find out the answer, and yes, you can. Or I don't know. That's a cool idea. Get something weekly going on that.
That'd be kind of cool where people could submit questions and we could try to maybe answer them or compile like an FAQ. Or it'd be cool. Some of these guides that have been written, maybe if we could have a random one displayed on the web page, like it just, you know, every day or you know, whatever, it picks a random one and kind of suggests that, you know, today's, you know, random newbie guide. I will say the website looks great. If you compare, and that's one of the nice things. The website looks great. If you compare the MUME website to a lot of, not to bash other MUDs, right? But if you compare the website to the other MUDs, MUME's website looks fantastic. A lot of the other MUDs have very outdated websites. So.
No, that's a good idea. What is this? Hey, I want to offer a promotion on your channel.
Oh, great.
Ooh, we got a Dogecoin. No, it's not Dogecoin. It's Doge Hype Dot. Nice. We got
fantastic.
Got some spammers here.
Let's sign up. Where do I type my credit card in here in the chat, or
how do I delete this?
Where do I do it?
I'm a bad host. How do I delete this stuff? No one click on that. Click to reply, pin the message. These are all great options. I'm gonna mute that, but anyway, I
also think it would be good if we could have some of these guides actually in the game as well, because most towns have a library, but we don't, and we have a lot of sort of role play books, you know, books that are part of the in-universe, which are very cool, but it would be great if we could actually have a centralized location, which most towns have a library, where newbies could go and in the game actually, you know, that's just have another option for them to read.
You could also embed a link at the end of it, which like leads, like, so you've got a guide like this, like you could have the guide text, and then you could just have the link in there as well, like just to like pop out kind of a thing.
See here for the latest version of the document.
Yeah, that'd be pretty cool. Because that's the problem with a library system in game is like, if it gets updated, like that's gonna be a pain. That's gonna be such a pain to maintain. Anyway, but let's hop into some other stuff here. So we also have some development here from MUME or MUME.
Yeah, who is that guy? Who
MUME.
is that guy?
This dude is an animal, whoever he
Yeah,
is.
this guy's out of control. Who does anybody know him or who
do you
that
spell
guy
it?
is? So there's a guy in the Discord. It's MUMEM, but like the M's in
MUME.
capital.
So
So
it's like MUME.
yeah. But this guy is just a mudlet coding maniac.
He's tearing up a storm out here.
He's just coding his ass off. I mean,
made
he's
it.
just pushing mudlet packages like crazy. Yeah.
The MUME package manager, a graphical package manager for MUME packages. How many times can you say packages in one sentence? It is a breeze now to install the various packages like MUME gprompt, MUME Visio, and more to come. Man, this guy is freaking awesome.
This guy's out of control. Yeah.
And so he's got this this graphical package here, which allows you to. There's a picture here. This is amazing. I don't know if is this showing up on stream.
This is the
it
one.
should.
The
It's actually,
the AI generated from the room descriptions. Nick, he did that.
Look how good this
Oh,
looks.
cool.
This is insane. You've got a little kind of compass here. You've got these animals, which are
Oh man.
you got a wolf, a sparrow here. I think so. I actually had a concept of this a long time ago, but I was like, "Well, there's no way I could build this because this is stupid." But like I'm an idiot when it comes to building anything like this. But what if we had some like custom art for it, where we had community built art, and you could have the vague outline of a troll as opposed to, so it kind of keeps that that the charm of text where you're not forced to see what it is, but it's like the outline.
It doesn't compromise your imagination.
Exactly.
But
Like the dead space is
yeah.
a hobbit, or the dead space is a bear, or something like that. But this is beautiful. This is absolutely beautiful. This guy is huge. Shout out to MUME. I still don't know who you are, but you now have a place in my heart.
Yeah, we got to find out who this maniac is.
Jahar's saying he's apparently fairly new to MUME. New to MUME. There we go.
It's cool. It's just the level of innovation is really impressive, I think.
I need chat on top of this here so people can see the chat. But yeah, this is great. There was another picture. Oh, under MUME artwork, we also have a submission here by Dr. Faust Paymon, which is an accurate depiction, a real life depiction of what Rogan looks like. So
Wow, that's exactly as I pictured him. Yeah.
the first thing I thought of, looked at this picture, I'm like, this is perfect.
Yeah. But on the topic of the AI stuff, some interesting. When I looked at like the Road to Grey Haven zones and those, like a lot of the typical thoroughfares and what the AI had generated for those, I honestly was turned off because it kind of just like compromised my imagination a little bit. But then they posted one for Halls of Mandos, which I have zero imagine. Like, to me, Halls of Mandos is just a purely abstract concept. I don't imagine myself as being there or being in a space or moving. It's just abstract. So when I saw this like epic Halls of Mandos post, I liked it. Like it wasn't clashing with some idea that I have of navigation. It wasn't clashing with that. It was just like that one right there. Yeah, exactly what Peter's showing. I thought this looked awesome, and it didn't like compromise my imagination at all. So I was thinking, what if one way where like an old school text player like me, and maybe it could kind of jive with the AI world, is places in the game that are not so kind of imagination sensitive. Like I was thinking maybe legend homes. Like it would be cool if like everybody in their legend home, they could specify their AI art or whatever, and you can see it. So
that's a great idea.
So people could own their little shit, but it wouldn't like impinge or trespass on kind of that sacred imagination of the open map or something. But,
No, I love that idea because it gives it more creative control over your, your whatever you're creating in the game, which I think is
right.
the
Yeah,
entire
so
point
imagine
of that,
Yeah, so imagine you walk around in Bree or whatever, and you look at a legend home door, and on the door is like an AI portrait of whoever's legend home it is. I think that could be really cool because people seem to like the AI portraits of their character, right? So
Yeah, so far.
yeah.
It's been
But it's cool. It's awesome, and whoever this maniac is, he's fantastic. So we gotta get him on and
That's so cool.
figure out what source of stimulants he has, and hopefully buy some from him because he's really crushing it.
Straight cocaine.
Yeah, there's like some big epic hall, like a roaring fire and a fireplace and a mahogany table and soaring windows and just him there with just a laptop and a pile of Adderall and just coding on all day. Awesome.
We've also got, let's shout out what's going on in the war right now. So we got Ziranovsky. He's now ranked number 8 Warlord. We've got Lumpin, ranked 9. Killy is ranked 10. Oh, Killy's back. Gotcha. Kelsier is no longer a Warlord. Uh-oh, he was 8th. But last spotted 45 players fighting in skirmishes. I have absolutely loved seeing this. Like it's motivated me to want to be more involved with the game, seeing like, oh, there's 45 players on right now. Like, hell yeah, I want to be involved in that, So Nazgum is the one who put this together. Huge shout out to Nazgum. I know this has been up for a little while, but I just want to, again, touch on it because it's been, I think, amazing. Fantastic. You got these nice little emojis here going on.
Again, I wish that should be in your face as soon as you log in. There's been 45 people fighting. There's been all these fights. I think that should just be right there. Bam. Other MUDs do a good job of that. Other MUDs, as soon as you log in, there's like a persistent bar at the top listing everybody who's logged in or whatever. So it's like it's there. I mean, those MUDs are much more of a social experience than maybe MUME skews more towards gaming. But all this awesome stuff should just be in your face. Yeah.
And of course, we've shouted out Jahara a bunch of times, but I want to shout out him again. He reorganized with a couple other players, reorganized the MUME Discord. And I think it's been a huge improvement. Like, for instance, the Newbie channel has absolutely been just popping off in recent weeks. And I think that's for the best.
It's fun to
here.
see. It's fun to see. Yeah, it's really fun to see.
It's easy for them to know where to go to get questions. And people have been super helpful in there. Shout out again to Baka, Jin, Relum, Finwee, the usual suspects. You guys have been absolutely killing in there. But yeah, this is the kind of stuff that I'd love to have on MUME's front page because it's awesome, So one of the things we were going to talk about today. So last podcast when we had Orlanth on, there was some discussion on what made it basically a good PK spot. We talked about Old White, for example. And Orlanth made some good points, and I think Rogan chimed in a little bit as well. And it kind of got us thinking, maybe it would be interesting if we had some kind of discourse or response from chat, especially on what they think that makes for a good PK spot, or what makes for a good super mod, what makes for a good area, all the good stuff. So we were going to start off super simple here. In the future, maybe we'd probably get a couple people on and kind of a panel, and we could talk about it. For right now, though, what we're going to do here is we got a top 10 list here for what we think are the best super mobs in the game. We're gonna go through each one here, and then specifically with chat involvement, we're gonna try to rank them, and we're gonna talk about why you guys think it's a good super mob versus a bad super mob. Kind of get an idea of like, not just like, oh yeah, we all love Balrog, but okay, that's great. But like, what makes
this is gonna be a just controversial mud flinging. Hardcore.
What makes this core dynamic of the game right now, super mobs? Again, we're starting off simple here, and we can get more complex in later episodes. But what makes it good versus like why does everyone hate such and such? Try to get to the bottom of this. What you guys think is good. Anyway,
I think basically we've realized our opinions. Nobody cares, but they like talking.
Our opinions here don't matter. So we're looking for chat responses, and we're going to talk about it. So.
Yeah. But this is going to be MUME Talk's top 10 smobs. We're doing a listicle countdown, baby.
So here we go. We got top 10 MUME super mobs. So what do we have that was listed?
We're gonna immediately jump in. It's gonna be like AM radio morning talk show. Just vitriolic.
Just to jog everyone's memory, Mike, you have a list of like a bunch of super mobs. Do you mind just kind of running through it real quick, just to kind of get everyone's like
I
mind?
do. Yeah. Where is that? Do you?
I already like Xyle. Xyle, we already agree that Gloom is number one, but we got to figure out why that is.
Yeah, nobody stop. Yeah, stop. Spoilers. Stop.
Oh, that's true.
Stop. Everybody, stop.
You're
spoilers. Right. Yeah, where did that go? Oh, I had that, dude. Yeah. Let me. Let me just send you this link, dude. Maybe you can just show it really quick.
I can pop it up here.
Yeah, let me just show you this.
No, that doesn't include the very latest, like the
Right, it does not.
like DGG. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So I just DM'd this to you, Slaya.
Okay. Let me pull it up real quick.
So while our tech guy, alias Slaya, is bringing that up, I can talk about it. So back in 2017, MUME, they announced that they were unveiling a new focus, but they didn't say where. And it took us a long time to find it. It was weeks, two or 3 weeks.
Yeah.
But so at one point, I made a spreadsheet of like every single possible location where a focus might be in the game. And it was fun. We went through it, like we crowdsourced it and went through it. But it's cool. So this is like circa 2017. This is like a pretty exhaustive list of all the super mobs in the game. So it's fun to look at. And if you're new, if you're learning the game or if you're learning mobs, this is a really good list to go through. If people want the link, I mean, I'm happy to give the link if anybody wants to go through it. But and yeah, as Nick says, this does not include everything since then. So that would be.
I love the checked versus not checked on here.
Yeah. No, we were seriously getting organized on this. We had
and we were the ones that found.
Yeah, and we did. It worked. Yeah, you're right. We actually did find we found it, so it worked. So spreadsheet works, kids. But so basically, who would be new? So this is a full list of MUME mobs circa 2017, and the newly added ones would be Scarredfell Beast, the Emin Orc Captains, Drake, Druidus. What is that guy's? What's the guy?
Rostam or how do you?
Yeah,
Rostam.
Rostam.
No. What's the guy? Magus.
Yeah.
Magus.
That's a cool one.
All the DG, all the image stuff. Yeah, but it's a cool artifact. If people are interested, we will. If people are interested, we'll maybe share the spreadsheet out a little bit. And if people want more,
Squirty's right here.
People want more SMOB tutorials. We'll definitely
Get more of those.
we can make some more if that's what people want. The MUME Talk production crew is here to serve. But let's do it. Let's get back to our top 10, man. Let's get back to the controversial. This is going to completely change how you think about Super Mario. Okay.
So
everyone, yeah.
So
go ahead, Peter.
Let's start off with number 10. We'll work up. So what did we have for number 10?
Yeah, so the editorial team at MUME Talk got together, and our number 10 is the Dwarven Tomb.
The Dwarven Tomb.
South of Grey Havens,
right.
yeah.
So you guys might completely disagree with that. We're going to talk about it a little bit. While you guys are spitting stuff out in chat, we will knock this off the list or put it back on the list or higher up in the list. What are you guys' thoughts on this? But why did we put it at number 10? Why is it on this list? What do you
Type it in, dude. Type it in.
Oh, yeah. Oh, you're right. We're just staring at a number 10 over here.
Dwarven Tomb is kind of a heartbreaker because it's so ridiculously time-consuming to get in. It takes hours to get into. But what I love about it is just the sheer imagination. Like, so many of the super mobs are like, here's a big bad guy, level 23 or above, who hits hard, is probably sanked, and maybe has a couple special attacks, it's like the reasonable template you would expect. But man, Dwarven Tomb is just the imagination. I mean, getting into it, the quest, having to have, to get into it, you have to have artifacts from Moria and Elrond and often Hedel. You have to solve kind of a layout puzzle to inside of it to traverse. Then the mobs inside have all kinds of special attacks. Then you loot it somewhere else. Like it's just so creative and so imaginative. So
Yeah,
I don't know. It's a heartbreaker because it's such a pain in the ass to get into it, so I never do it. But
So
it's really brilliant.
I have an idea here, actually, just so that it's easier for chat to kind of sort through this stuff. What if we put all 10 down right now, and then they could say like to push it up, push it down, or like put something else on the list? Does that make sense?
You're gonna.
No, that's a good idea. Yeah.
That way they could be like, no, that's stupid. What are you guys thinking? So
you're gonna give away all our juice, man.
Gonna
I was amped for the big review. No, it's fine. Yeah, sure.
No, I think it allows them to
stir
kind
up
of
some
push it
controversy because people are gonna be like, oh, seriously, you put this one above that one, and where's my favorite one? Where's my
Yeah. So that way they can start putting stuff on the list. So,
Okay. If you guys are not into the big reveal, okay. Number 9 is Moria Kraken.
Moria Kraken. All right. Number 8.
Sage.
Sage. All right. Number 7.
Mithnar the Dragon.
Mithnar the Dragon. I don't think I spelled that right, but we're going with it.
Mithnaur.
Oh, I nailed it! All right.
Yeah.
All right.
Number 6 is Mirror Quest or Witch King of Angmar.
Quest. Witch King. I'm going to type it down, the whole thing. All right. Number 5
is Balrog.
Balrog.
Durin's Bane. Yes.
Durin's Bane. All right. Number 4.
Squaretooth.
You know what? Squaretooth's just going to get squared. The abbreviation. Number 3.
Frikra.
Frikra. A personal favorite right there.
Personal favorite. Number 2, Miranog.
Miranog. And number 1.
And number 1, you already know what it is. It's Gloom, baby.
Unquilome.
Twilight.
We're going to put that in caps just because. I'm going to move myself out of the way here. So now you guys can see it all. So we can start talking. We start moving stuff around on the list or taking stuff off or putting it on. So let's go back then to number 10 and why we think it's number 10 out here. So Mike, you were saying that it's super creative.
It's the most imaginative thing in MUME, I think.
Zyle had a great point here, which is just that it requires a lot of prep work here, which is a bit of a pain. But the rewards are pretty solid because I guess we didn't even think about it when we were coming up with the top 10, like the reward to difficulty ratio.
That's a good point. Yeah, we didn't think about that.
Yeah, that's my problem with Dwarven Tombs is I actually don't think the reward is worth it, and it's sad because I like it's kind of a culmination of a lot of different concepts lifted from existing super mobs, and it's like they took the best elements of various other super mobs, other puzzles, and put them all in one place. It's so cool. It's great to experience it. But as far as doing it for a reward, I still don't think the reward is really worth it because it requires so much prep work. You have to burn an OIE book, which could be a strength ring or a mana ring. It requires us you do it at a certain time of year because the moon has to be up. It's got some level of risk. I think for the effort that has to be done to do it, and it's not a short thing. You can't do it in a timely manner. So that's my only thing. Is my only real criticism about it, which has always been my criticism, is I think it's wonderful. To me, that would be up there. That would probably be number 2 for me if the reward was worth the time and the risk.
Okay.
Because in all other respects, it's this wonderful zone.
Okay. I'd agree with most of that. We actually, all right. So we already got Nat coming in hard against Muranog. So we're gonna talk about that next. Nat's not a fan of Muranog.
It seems we have consensus on Dwarven Tomb, right?
Yeah. To me, I think so. There's a couple things that go into. And I really like to hear chat's thoughts on this. There's 3 big things that go into a super mob. Number 1, it's like difficulty, like what are the mini puzzles in it? That's the number 1. Number 2, what's the loot? And number 3, how long does it take? All 3 of those are, in my opinion, the biggest like factors if I want to do a super mob or not. Graven Tunes has good loot. It's got a very interesting puzzle system for most of it, and it doesn't take so long. I love that. You can really do it in 15 minutes once you're already ready to go, you know? The prep work beforehand takes a long time. That's the only reason that I think that it's bad. But I think everyone can kind of agree that the prep is the only really bad part of it, you know?
The prep and the time of year requirement, because it requires, that you have your group ready at a certain time, which might not be on a weekend. It depends when the full moon coincides with you all being ready to do it and you all having the ingredients.
So not being available. So maybe seasonal super mobs are not as it seems like that's consensus here. But we'll leave it there for now. We've got some suggestions in here, but again we got a couple people here saying Murnog off the list. Now that's totally cool. We can move Murnog off the list.
Get yourself off the chat.
We'll base off the chat a little bit here.
Murnog. People are saying Murnog is like a really simple troll. 4 trolls. I get it. Yeah, that's true. That's true. But to me, just that zone. I guess to me, I think of the zone as the super mob, not literally just the mob, right? And I just think with the Black Ark patrols, I think the shape of that little area with the mahogany doors. I always loved that door named Mahogany. I always thought that was really cool. And to me, what I love about Murnog is you can never ever take it for granted. Like nobody ever has Murnog solved. You play with absolute pros. You play with total guys who are level 100 PvE players. And you go down Murnog, and there's a great chance that shit just gets crazy. And I just it's just so. To me, one thing I really like about Murnog is that it feels Moria-esque. It doesn't the full kind of terror and kind of gothic horror of Moria in the books and in the lore. I feel like Murnog holds that up. Just how scary he is, how difficult. The Black Ark patrols, it feels like Moria in the books to me. So I don't know. I just think it's well crafted, and especially if they did that shit back in 96 or 95 or whenever they made it, I think that was really impressive.
I agree. I think the fear factor there is great, and then number 2, the big reason why I like Murnog is the fact that it requires a lot of skill to do. You can't just walk in there and just do it the same way every time. You have to navigate around the patrols. There's a lot of cool, interesting tricks you can do. You can charm the huge troll, then sank it, and then quake them all down. And there's a bunch of different strategies that go into all to it. And I don't know. I like the puzzle behind it. But it does not sound like chat is convinced by us. So we might have to take this off here. So let's remove Murnog here for right now.
Chat.
What would you? We will rearrange this list, but what should replace Murnog? What are you guys thinking? We've got some suggestions for Fellbeast, for some of the DG stuff. What do you guys think?
I'm gonna say Magus. Yeah, I'm gonna say Magus.
Magus.
You guys like?
Let's see what the chat.
Yeah,
what the chat has to say.
What are you guys thinking here? No one wants to be the first one.
I think my points about Murnog were so good they're all just
they're just oh man, it is the best super mob.
Yeah.
But yeah,
I think for something that does require a certain time of MUME or whatever, I think DK works quite well. That would probably be the only one that's sort of year dependent that I kind of like, but the Dwarven Tombs and also the Dunling Camp, I don't like that there are so many things that are seasonal dependent. That means that a lot of people can't, if they have a normal work week or whatever, it's going to be a long time before the time that it occurs on a weekend before they can get it. And then at that point, a bunch of other people have already gotten there first. So but I think DK is quite an interesting puzzle, especially the fact that you have to lure it out and stuff. So,
I'm going to be honest with you. I don't like DK, and the reason for that is mostly the seasonal thing. I still don't understand it. I don't have one of those fancy timers. Imanya's already there first. I just never do it. So, I don't like it.
I actually wrote my own to predict the MUME. But
Exactly.
yeah,
I don't like the fact you have to write something in order to do it. It's too much.
Yeah, yeah. Well, I mean, that's exactly the same for Dwarven Tunes, which is why I don't generally like seasonal things. Just because it alienates a good chunk of it. It basically alienates casual players, and it alienates anyone that has a 5-day work week.
Agreed. You can't have a life and do it. So Zyle here is saying Feldrake is worth because it's unique due to having to hit multiple areas to do it. What does that mean? What do you mean you have to hit multiple areas to do it?
You have to touch the dragon skeleton or whatever to open it, remember?
Oh, I see what you mean. I thought you meant like in actual fighting it.
Oh yeah, you have to hit his arm, hit his tail. No. No, you have to. You go in the statue area.
So the treasure room is far from the mob. Is basically what he's saying. Like there's
no, but even to get in there, right? You have to. You have to go collapse the skeleton to even open the room into him. Right?
All right, Zyle. Though, if you're gonna say that, how would you compare that to, let's say, Mezigor? Because Mezigor's got quite an interesting puzzle to go loot. Jazree's in here saying Mystic Ring is pretty fun. She likes the puzzles and the poison beasts.
Yeah, Mystical is fun.
I get confused in Mystical. I can never remember the doors and the one ways, and you go back and then you fall in the water.
Oh yeah, do you ever just sort of walk onto the trap door and
right?
fall in?
It's one of those embarrassing mobs. I skip it because I don't want to get embarrassed. Like if I'm leading, I skip it because I don't want to be embarrassed by my lack of knowledge.
Well, let's take a peek here. All right, so right now we've got votes for Mystical Ring. We've got votes for Fell Beast, or not Fell Beast, a Fell Drake. It looks like those are the big two right now. What would you guys want to knock off this list in order to put them on, or are they just should be numbered 11 and 12, kind of? Because right now we got Dwarven Tombs, we got Moria Kraken, we got Sage, we got the Dragon, we've got Mirror Quest, Balrog, Squaretooth, Frickrub, Magus, and Unquilum. Would any of you guys knock off?
Those are heavy hitters, baby.
Yeah, would any of you guys knock?
The All-Star.
Are you gonna say Mystical or Fell Drake are better than
any of those? They got the
those?
96 Bulls.
I would say Drake might be better than Sage. I would say Drake might
Modern
be
Sage, yeah, I agree. After they nerfed him, I think
Yeah.
I agree, yeah.
Okay, so
Sage
Zyle,
is pretty straightforward.
Zyle is going to say, how can Moria Drake be on the list if no one ever does it? Okay, and Gorboke's saying,
That's
Gorboke, how have you never done Moria Kraken? Really? For shame. Okay, so we all drown when we try it, which is true. Okay, so kind of similar to what we were talking about with the seasonal aspect of Greyhaven Tomb and all the other seasonal things. Perhaps Moria Kraken is too difficult to get into. Do we agree with that? Like you kind of need a Balrog group to do it, kind of. Like you don't have to, but
it's typically done before or after Balrog. Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, the tragedy of Moria Kraken is that learning it frequently involves mob rips. Like there's basically no way either someone who's already learned teaches you, or you pay a heavy mob rip penalty, like multiple mob rips, to learn it. There's no, I don't believe anybody in the history of MUME has ever figured out how to do it and killed it without eating a mob on their own.
Plus,
I mean, if you have like Alistair in a group to teach you, that's one different thing. But
plus, once you do it, so if you know how to do the coin dropping on the bottom, it's still kind of entertaining. But if you're one of the guys up top just waiting there, that's super lame because you're just sitting there bobbing and wasting time. So actually, I think they're right. We should knock it off the list just for the sake that a huge chunk of that group that had to kill it is probably doing nothing while you're looting.
I don't know. No, but the people are asking what loads there. It's the winged helmet and white chain gloves, right?
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah.
White chain gloves can also load at Dwarven Tomb, which is helpful, but it's...
I didn't know that.
I didn't know that either, actually.
Yeah, it loads a full white chain set. Pretty sure it loads white chain gloves, too. But, yeah.
Yeah. For group non-involvement
Which is interesting,
alone...
because typically they don't like to have duplicate things that loaded two separate mobs.
All right, here's what I'm thinking. Moya Kraken. And so when you're dropping all the coins, that's essentially very similar to Greyhaven's Tomb, right?
Yeah, it's a puzzle.
All right, one of those has to go. We're gonna take off Moya Kraken.
Yeah.
Yeah, ditch crack.
All right,
ditch Kraken.
Taking Kraken off. All right, what do you guys think then? What needs to come in place of Kraken? If popularity, Willow would be the highest on the list. No. All right, Willow is a necessity, not fun.
I think Willow's soul is cool because it's almost never done. I mean, I'm not sure what the criteria is here, but I'm thinking in terms of some of the more interesting sort of implementation.
Mike.
Because a lot of super mobs, you just get a bunch of people together and you can whack it, you know. So,
Xylas say we should put Mirnog as number.
No one's mentioned Lord either. I mean,
Gorwolf just mentioned Lord actually.
I don't know. I don't like the RNG smobs so much.
Yeah.
I don't know. If you think about the heavy hitters, Gloom, Fricra, Squaretooth, like elaborate, incredible zone design, very high difficulty, frequently you need multiple special techniques, like multiple people and multiple players in your party have to have like techniques and they have to learn and know certain skills or certain tactics. And it's just like it feels like the team conquered something, right? But the one like Lord, I just feel like it's just kind of RNG on the nobles. I feel like I don't know. What do you guys sound off on Lord? What do you guys think?
I'm with you on that. In terms of, I don't think it's very difficult. I think you just kind of walk in there and you get lucky or you don't get lucky.
Right.
But Gorwolf brings up a really interesting point in chat. I think is kind of cool. How much do you think? Because he says maybe BBT for PKs. How much do you think the PK ability of a super mob affects how fun it is? Like how with the fact that you might get jumped, like doing Blood White is like, okay, how
so
much.
That's where I think
definitely get jumped by Squaretooth if they see tracks coming in.
Yeah, exactly. So Squaretooth and Gloom, I think, excel in this PK area because if somebody tries to jump you, you have valid tactics to fight back, right? Like, if you get jumped inside GC or Blood White or whatever, it's just a brawl. Like they outnumber you, they trap you in, and it's not very tactical. But both Squaretooth and Gloom, at least in my experience, is if your enemies come in, it's like, okay, we got a chessboard here. Who's gonna go where? Who's gonna do what? We got
zone knowledge.
We got blockables. Yeah, elaborate zone knowledge. Like it's a full on Navy SEAL engagement in there.
And there's multiple ways out of like Squaretooth. No one ever seems to use. They always seem to go back the way they came. They never seem to use the one way out until like next to where the spiders are.
Is that one way out? I thought it was one way in.
No, it's one way out.
Yeah, it's a one way out. I always like that area because everyone always like if there's people charging, they always think that you're going to go back across the boulders that fall on you, and I always go out the one way because that's pretty safe to go out that way. So
yeah, I thought that was one way in. Oh, I got to look at that.
No, it's one way out. And it plops you right next to those spiders. So
yeah, in that long north-south corridor, right?
Yeah, north of where the down climb exit is to get in.
So. We still do need a something to replace number 9 here. So what are you guys thinking? Chat, help us out here. We got Mystical, that's all, and BBT. Those are the only two we're looking at right now. Any other suggestions, or what do you guys think? Add a note to my plan, kill Dent. Knack has got your number, Nick.
Our boy Nick is taking. Our boy Knack is taking notes on what you're doing, where you're going.
You always want to be unpredictable. That's the thing. Sometimes I go out that way. Sometimes I go out the other way. This is like with Gloom too. And I'll say when I'm leading Gloom, I love this because Gloom has half the time I go out the way everyone goes out. Half the time I go out the front. I go.
You swim out.
You swim. Yeah, swim back out and wipe out all this. If I have a big enough group, I love it's extra XP. I just love wiping out all those spirit patrols. And the funny thing is, one time there was a whole huge darky group that was sitting in that exit. They were sitting in that area that we would have gone if we had gone the way everyone else gone. There's probably 8 of them, They
fractured
sat
floor.
there. I got a very angry message, like probably an hour after I left from someone that's like, "You never came out." I'm like, "Yeah, we did." And they're like, "No, we were sitting there, 8 of us sitting there waiting and waiting and waiting. You never came out." I'm like, "Yeah, because I didn't go out that way." But it was funny to me because it's like I'm just imagining 8 players sitting there waiting to
But that's what I
squash
love.
us. We just
That's what
kept them waiting. We went next speed.
I love because it's like you're like I want to get jumped, right? You're like, okay, come on. I hope some, you go in and do square truths. Like I hope some trolls come, right? Whereas other areas is kind of, and the worst actually, the worst shit that ever happens is if you get jumped and you die inside Blood White, and it repops. You cannot loot your corpse. You cannot get back in, and there goes everything. So,
do you mean Dragon or?
I guess Dragon has that too, but Blood White.
Yeah.
So if you get killed, if you get player killed in Blood White, and the other players leave,
the key,
and it pops, and you don't have the key, it's tough when you're all naked to do GC. Is very difficult. So I've lost a few sets that way. Yeah.
Jahar is saying that.
Same experience with Dragon.
Jahar is saying that basically GC and Blood White honestly should be kind of considered the same super mob because they just go together all the time.
I agree with that.
We do have some other suggestions here. We saw Guck up there. I don't know how many people have done Guck yet. In my opinion, a very fun super mob, but probably not super well known. We have a couple mentions here for Ebon Wraith and specifically for Eblis. What are thoughts on?
I like that one.
Eblis?
Yeah, I like that one.
Okay, Iblis seems like a strong contender. What makes you think Iblis? What do people think?
You mentioned before the chance of getting jumped, and oh my god, like, Mike, do you remember? Sad day. Your home team. We did not win this one.
Is this when we all got killed by harassed?
We got massacred by like 1 or 2 trolls.
Yeah, no, it's harassed.
A huge group
HORAST.
Yeah.
By the way, what happened to that guy? Is he still play that player?
Yeah, he was on a couple weeks ago.
Okay, I remember
There's
that.
Like 4 of us.
I remember that,
and we just got massacred because.
No, the sad thing was, I'm not going to mention the name. So we had one warrior. I remember this. This is burned in my mind.
I flipped I'm like, seriously?
Yeah, if he had just stood still, we would have won. Because I had a combo
that,
bash.
and because he had a Dale's pony, and I was like, dude, get rid of the locatable mount with the unique mount. Right. No, I like my Dale's pony. Yeah. And it's like, and it's funny because I asked I asked him afterwards. I'm like, I'm gonna guess how you found us, and he's like, oh, I just tracked the pony. I'm like, yeah.
Right. But no, so
because if there was a BN standing outside in case things went wrong, and the BN had located the pony.
Right. So for our listeners, we were trying to do Iblis, and so Iblis is a very small area where once it goes back to like kind of one ways. It's an area that requires commitment. Like once you're in, you're committed because you can only escape it at certain times of day. It's like the forest, creek grown muddle or whatever, where the forest changes. So you're in there, but one or two of the rooms is no cast, and so we got charged by a troll, and so we had one warrior with us. All that we needed to do is if our warrior had stood there, just stand still. Literally, just type change Wimpy 0 and then walk away from the computer. We would have won.
Yeah,
but this idiot is. I shouldn't say this. Less experienced player. He kept fleeing.
He panicked.
He panicked. Bouncing. So he was just bouncing. So the troll was able to hit flea all of us down one by one. So if he had just stayed still
and protect,
we all would have won.
I'm sure there's
and the troll would have been bouncing back and forth, and we would have won.
I'm sure there's no shortage of sad, tragic tales in Eblis. But one thing to consider here is Eblis is very rarely done. So Anak says it's great for Zogs, and it is. But if it's such a good super mob, why does no one do it? Yeah, it's the player me. Yeah, it was totally me. I don't think it was me.
No, it wasn't. It was.
But
a player.
So Iblis is great for trolls and Zogs, but no one seems to do it. So does that make it a good one or a bad one?
I don't know. I feel like it's not really a puke smob though, because
You end
it
up
doesn't
falling to Eben too.
it doesn't load a ton of that's a good point. You follow it down into Eben Wraithla. But I guess it doesn't it feels like a very kind of troll and Zog targeted SMOB because the way it loads, no size shield and stuff.
You know what?
Iron ring and right?
I think
I guess like, why do it as puke, right? Just XP.
It sounds like people like it, except for the loot is not great, at least from a puke perspective, because it's all randomized and everything. But Zogs and Trolls like it. I think for that reason alone, it should be up there because it is kind of... they don't have, like, Zogs can't do a lot of super mobs, So it kind of helps that race a lot. So, you know what? Eblis is up there. That's what I'm thinking.
Also,
okay, all right.
Are there
We'll
any
give a
objections?
pity. It's a pity vote for the Zogs. Pity vote for the Zogs. Yeah.
But I like it's if you die in there, you get turned into this like weird kind of like if you get stabbed by a Morgul blade, you get turned into a Wraith.
Oh, I forgot about that. You're like an animated corpse. What is it? You're a tree?
Yeah, something like an animated
infested tree. Yeah,
something. And so all your stuff ends up in that little alcove. So you have to kill Iblis, or however you pronounce it, to get your stuff back. And at that point, you're naked. So you can't even get your stuff back to kill him. You have to kill him before you can get your animated whatever it is, and all the other things. So if you die to that, it's more difficult. You have to get a whole group to come in and help.
Yeah, but then there's a lot of flavor there. It is one thing just to die in a super mob and you can't get back in, but like when your own corpse starts beating the fuck out of you, shit went down. It is kind of entertaining.
I totally forgot about that part.
It's pretty entertaining.
That's good.
And that's what I was saying with
spaced.
And that's what I was saying with Dragon. It's like it's the same thing. Like if you die to Dragon, then you literally can't get. You might have to wait 20 minutes, assuming no one kills the mob in the meantime.
Right.
For XP, you might have to wait 20 minutes or whatever, and at that point, your corpse might have decayed or be close to decaying. But by the time you can get in again, and it's you might sit there and mob again or whatever, trying to figure out if your corpse is still there. So some of these ones can be quite dangerous, even for experienced players. If something goes wrong,
So I tell you what. So we got 10 on the list right now. So we got Greyhaven, Dwarven Tomb, Eblis Sage, the Dragon, Mirror Quest, Balrog, Squaretooth, Frikra, Magus, and Gloom. Let's talk about first why we think that, and chat again as well, hop in here and be more vocal than us. Why Gloom seems to be the most popular. And then number 2, what all of these seem to have in common. It sounds like everyone is more or less okay with what we got here right now. There's a bunch which are off the list, which probably should stay off the list. But what makes Gloom so good? And then number 2, what do all these have in common / what should we replicate in future super mobs so that we don't have... Because, actually this is kind of interesting. This is interesting, folks. We don't have anything from DG on here, and we don't have anything from ABR. So what are folks thinking here? What do we need to fix?
Well, I love. Druidus. Maybe we should have had Magus. I guess Magus or Druidus. Like
Magus awesome. Actually, Magus is on here, so we do have.
We did put Magus on there, right? Yeah. Druidus. I thought Druidus is really creative. How she cures you in fight and is kind of laughing and toying with you. I just hate all those damn dark oaks. By the way, pro tip: dark oaks do not see through shroud. Yeah. So you can very slowly and efficiently, but nonetheless impactfully. Once the roots are gone, you can just shroud quake the dark oaks and Druidus.
You want to hear a super crazy strategy? You can shroud and walk into the oaks room and then just spam fear until they're all dead.
Really?
Yeah, no way. You don't get engaged. It's pretty crazy. It's pretty crazy.
Damn, now I want to try that.
I never even thought of that. That is awesome.
Do you get XP? Do you get XP for that?
No, you don't. They just die.
No, yeah, if they die, you don't get XP from fear.
But it's actually really awesome. Fun. It's really fun. It takes a lot of mana, but it's pretty fun.
Yeah.
I'm just picturing a tree trying to flee,
Actually, so they can't flee, which makes it easier for them to die. Also, I think they have really low will. So they actually usually get 1 or 2, assuming you have like a cloak and you're good to go. But anyway, so we're looking at this here. I'm going to read some chat here. So people have not... Either way, some people have never done them and would just like to see how it's done. Okay, so that's talking about how we do, or showing off some of the super mobs. Elamir here is saying that unique strategy and tactics is key.
Totally. I totally agree with that, and I would say unique strategy and tactics, but learnable without mob rips, right? That's like, I love for it to be hard as shit and extremely difficult, and I'm okay. Like that was I think some of the people who made Guck are on the call, but man, we went in there. I got instant mob ripped on Guck. Like within 20 seconds, I was mob ripped on Guck, just scouting around. So
Jahar is somewhere is smiling happily.
Yeah, so I just don't know. I'm like, well, okay, I guess. And so now when I go back and do it, I just tag along with like Hap or somebody to just. But it's like when I feel like something is not learnable or navigable, I just say like, okay, I'll just tag along with power groups. So I don't know.
If it makes you feel any better, all right. So I had the opportunity to help test Guck. Jahar needed some help with it, and this is before we tuned him down, and we walked in there. And we walked out with like 2 hit points each, and the first words out of Jahar's mouth were "Holy shit!" So yeah, it was.
But it just doesn't make any sense to me. So I was on a Hobbit Thief, right? Hobbit Thief in the book, literally Bilbo Baggins is able to, go into all kinds of crazy scenarios pretty effectively.
But he's not even a trained thief. He's like a 50-year-old.
Right. But man,
he's
we
like
walked
a middle-aged dude.
Yeah, and we're just instantly dead. It's like, okay, well, I guess I'll only do this with the power group. I don't know.
Okay, well, so all right, let's talk about Uncle Elohim. What makes Uncle oh my gosh, I can't talk anymore. What makes Gloom so great, guys? What makes Gloom so great? Because it's difficult. There is some RNG in there, like where the patrols are really matter. We got Knack hopping in here, so he wants to talk about why he thinks Uncle. So we're gonna listen to him first. So we got Uncle is for me numero uno because it always can go wrong. So we got RNG in there. I fall down big groups of spirits, so you never are 100% safe, even if you play with a strong power group. If you are not Dent, you can be trapped there. And in the end, it's an insane loot item for a high-risk super mob. Look at BBT. It's such insane loot, but it's not risky to do it. You can just get unlucky with trolls waiting. All right, so for him, it's the big risk factor. It makes it dangerous all the time. The loot is a huge factor. And it's, I don't think you mentioned it in here, but it's definitely super unique. Like, it is, the way you do it is super, there's no other burn door mechanics anywhere in the game. Elamir is saying strategy. Okay, Dan, go ahead.
Well, there's a couple of, I guess I could give away some secrets about Gloom too that some people probably don't know. So of course, one of the interesting things is kind of like he believes if you die, you get kind of turned into an animated corpse thing, I believe. One of the interesting things about those animated Uruks...
Oh, don't give that secret out, dude. Keep that one back.
I was going to talk about...
I know what you're going to say.
Yeah.
Don't
I was talking about something else.
Don't
but
give that one out. Okay, don't give that one out. That's the most precious secret of all, dude.
Which one's that? Because there's a couple regarding Gloom, regarding the Orcs.
We're not going to talk about secrets here. We're just going to talk about what makes it good.
What makes it good? Don't give that one away. Don't, dude.
What makes it good?
Okay, because there's
I don't want him to fix that one. I know. I don't want.
There's like three different ones I know.
I don't want him to fix that one. That's the best glitch in the game. Yeah.
Okay. So anyhow, I think the interesting thing is when you have a lot of players going to Gloom and from Gloom, also you have the potential to fall based on weight, usually falling at inopportune times, like when there's a spirit patrol just entered, is in the room, and all of a sudden you find yourself alone, or the warrior just fell and all the casters are having to buff while the warrior tries to get back and slips and falls. Falling into a room that has a patrol in it, that's fun. The fact that you can be trapped on the way out, sometimes you can fall down into that room inadvertently when you pass over it, and then you do have to go out that way. Or if a single player falls down, then you have to all go down, and so they're not alone. But yeah, the potential to drown on the way in is quite high. Drowning on the way out is potentially dangerous. All the death traps everywhere. It's
death traps. Okay, death traps are fun. That's my hot take for the day. Okay, it's not fun walking into a death trap. I like
them if they're recoverable.
But it's
recoverable.
It's fun when they're around because it makes you just kind of you're a little more tense. Yeah. You're a little more. It's good. It's good. Life is better when you're in danger. Anyway, so going on here. So you're saying that it's dangerous, Nick. Going along with what Knack was saying. I think we can all agree that aside from Balrog, Gloom might be the best equipment in the game just because rocks are like, can you think of a load that's better than Shining or rocks?
I'm sure, depends on whether a minion is playing. I'm sure people would say BBT, but no, you're right. In terms of just like every day, do it once a day and just load up. Yeah, it's Gloom all day, I think.
Like rocks are just insane. So we got loot, and that honestly, that echoes what we talked about before with regards to Emin. We've talked about that many times where Emin, its biggest problem is just loot, man. There's just no loot.
Yeah, I know.
So maybe
those poor impoverished orcs who live there. It's really, you feel like a colonial. You feel like a colonizer going in there.
Yeah, go back to the Stone Age.
I know. You feel so bad. But actually, no. But one thing to key off what Nick was saying, one thing that I really like, some super mobs are just sort of like autopilot red shirt mobs, where like so long as the leader knows what they're doing, everybody else just like spams assist or spams bash or spams nuke and don't have to think about it. But I really enjoy the mobs where like everybody has to have some understanding and some like you need it. It's team, right? It's kind of like an A team type thing where everybody has to know and everybody has to play. And Gloom is like that. I actually now that I look at this list, I'm realizing the thing that a common thread amongst the ones that we have at the top is everybody in the group has to know and understand and be very good player and kind of like think fast and react. It's not like just like an autopilot red shirt, type thing.
Yeah.
I think an underrated point here also is that the Jazri has brought this up a couple times. She really likes the dialogue in a bunch, and a bunch of these have a good story that go along with them versus I feel like quite a few don't. Like maybe that's a weak point of Guck, for instance. Guck's just kind of there, versus like you walk into Magus or you walk into Iblis or you walk into Unquilome and you're like, what is this place? Like you want to know what's going on, Right, whereas like Guck's like, all right, here's this snow giant, or what are some other examples of stuff that's it's like, oh well, he's there, so that's an interesting point that I hadn't really considered. Even the dragon, I mean, and Sage is also interesting too. You're like, who is this guy and why is he stealing all of my moves,
there's like there's an element of enchantment kind of.
Mirror, a great example as well. Okay, so that's a good point to think about here, because we're looking to the future here. We want to make new super mobs. It looks like unique strategy is number 1 or 2 on the list. Loot is kind of an obvious one, but it really seems to hold up. All of these guys have great loot, man. All of these guys have great loot, with the exception of possibly Iblis. A little bit of some mystery,
enchantment.
Exactly. Yeah. What else would you say is a commonality? Oh, Mike, you were saying
group tactics.
Group tactics.
Yeah. Not just like spamming assist and spamming nuke, but the whole group has to understand and learn. Yeah.
So let's go ahead, Nick.
Go ahead, Nick. Yeah.
I was gonna say anywhere where auto assist is a detriment. There are places that I think are nice.
Okay.
Totally.
So what are some super mobs?
I hate auto assist.
What are some super mobs that are popular that people do all the time? Which you say don't follow these? Like, for instance, Willow. Like, does anyone like doing Willow? Does anyone actually like doing Willow?
I think we all do it for the community. I think we all do it because it's like if someone asks for help, you just help them. Like it's it's just the thing to do because you want them to help you when you need Willow. But yeah, I
think that's
but it's like oh, Aminye, yeah, our boy Aminye likes doing that. Willow, yeah. But that's where, yeah, and I think like Jazry is making this comment in the chat a few times about how there has to be experienced players to teach new players. Like will so many. I think a lot of this mobs is like if you, I actually it's kind of like. Sorry, I'm rambling here, but maybe a good measure of a smob is, do people do it for fun or for XP, or do they only do it when they have to for like some critical need or critical, loot? And I guess Willow, like you just do it. It's a pain in the ass. You do it when someone needs a crystal, and that's it. Mm-hmm. Whereas the other stuff's like, hey, you want to go do square two? It's like, oh yeah, just because it's fun, even if you're not going to get the wristband or whatever, it's just fun.
It is. I 100% agree. I agree 100% because I consider Willow just unfun. Like it's just not fun. You just do it.
Right. If someone's like, you want to do Gloom? It's like, I don't even care if I get a rock. It's like, yeah, we're going in there. Bam.
So in terms, we could also bring this back to Edmund, thinking about it again. So we already talked about loot, but in terms of like the way that you kill the orc mobs in there, it is very much just like, hey, just assist, just go in there and just assist. That's the best way to do it. Don't get fancy, just assist. Willow is a Muranog that doesn't move. That's true. Knack is saying Old White is maybe an unpopular opinion. Easy, quick money, but I died so often. So that gets back into the danger of it. Danger is good. That seems like a common theme here.
Surprised no one's mentioning OIE or Tharbad Chief or Braga, or however you say it, Braga.
I think someone did mention Tharbad Chief. No one has talked about Oi.
Oi. Is that Oi?
Does no one else call it Oi? I call it Oi. In my head,
my screen reader calls it Oi.
Oh, okay. There we go. See, I'm with the Nick's screen reader over here. I would agree. Old White is a great example of like not a fun super mob, but in terms of like the loot and risk factor, super high. So.
Yeah, risk reward is good there.
Yeah. But all right, so thinking, because now some new projects are underway. I know the guys have been talking about this for a while, and there's projects underway. Looking towards the future, let's look towards the past, the most recent past. What else is an ABR besides Guck? I'm actually totally blanking right now. We got Goblin Chieftain.
Yeah, it's not so much ABR is not so much a big bad mob, like singular big bad mob type zone. It's more like patrols, groups of mobs type thing.
Okay, so we don't have we don't have the Goblin Chieftain on here. We don't have much from DG other than Magus. So we didn't put on the Fell Drake. We didn't put on Druid. And the reasons for that, again, reasons that we can look towards the future, we're all kind of here agreeing that is because of what?
Yeah, I kind of feel like we should put more DG stuff on here. Actually, now that I'm kind of
you think that it fits in there?
Yeah. I guess we all, at least those of us, we really haven't been like, we all kind of were in a semi-retired state after DG, right? So we just haven't been banging on it enough. But DG's, I really like those mobs. Those big guys.
Maybe. Relum here is saying that, or Goik is saying that Broga fails because there's no loot. Relum says Broga is soloable like Chief. Similar numbers of Quakes. No, not hugely dangerous. It's just there. Ding Dong Toodaloo, our favorite name, says, unpopular take. I don't like ABR that much because all the caves have 2 or 3 exits out and you can't catch anyone off guard there. That goes back to the Old White talk we were talking about earlier where...
it's not a very committing zone.
Catching people is fun. We got another spam. You want to become...
We're getting spammed,
Dude, we got a lot of spam here. Holy crap. How do I get rid of these? I am such a bad host. How do you delete this stuff? I know that's an option in Twitch, right? All right. Let me see if I can do it from Twitch directly. I'm over here doing it on OBS while I'm figuring this out.
I'm just sort of thinking to myself, like, I don't believe I've ever done Bjorn on Troll.
I was gonna say same here. I've never done him. I've never done Bjorn. Yeah.
Yeah, I was like, I've gotten my ass kicked by Bjorn as Darky, but I don't think I've ever had a big enough group to do Bjorn on Troll.
I would like to. Is there any? I wonder if anybody listening in the chat who's like can lead Bjorn well. Reach out. Maybe that'd be a fun video to make. Because
I've done
I've
a
never
grinder
done it.
on both sides, but
Yeah, and I don't think I've ever seen his pelt in game.
I have.
Okay,
but
I've never seen it.
it's
Yeah,
it's really heavy. I mean, pretty much only a troll can
right.
make
Yeah,
use
it's troll
fixes.
only, right?
Yeah, I think so. Yeah, and it's quite heavy.
Yeah, I would like to do it. I would like to do Bjorn.
Okay, there we go. I figured it out. Sort of. Kind of.
Oh, that makes me think of one. Here's one everyone's missing, and I don't know why I didn't think of this. Well, we have some of the knock stuff, like we have Guardian, but what about knock itself? Like doing clearing out knock as a puke group. That's quite fun, especially if you do it from monitor, because it's you gotta really know what you're doing and take your time.
Yeah, I agree, Nick, and you're good at that, Nick. Like you use like
that was how I leveled on Dent to 100. Was I did monitor, I did knock, cleared out knock with a huge group.
And you do the Alistair tactic on.
Yeah, I learned that
battle,
from
right?
Alistair. So everyone else does Wolfgate, and I have done Wolfgate before, but I kind of see the advantage to monitor. But it definitely it can be a little more tricky, and you have to have someone who you trust who can be quick on the block door.
Yeah, but dude, we should. That would be a very difficult, but a good video to make would be to raid like Fornost or something and just show the Alistair tactic of manipulating defense, and like you lure all the mobs to one gate and you spam to the other, and like just how fluidly Alistair can like have all of Fornost like wrapped around his finger and it be in 0 risk the whole time. It's badass.
Have you ever been on Darky and had that oil dumped on you?
Never. I never have. I never have. I've never seen it. I've never seen the muddle. I've never seen it in game.
The loot for just raiding is just not good enough. It's just not good enough.
Yeah, it's not. But it's
Commandant Fordo's Commandant should have like an ornate or a winged helmet or a badge or something like that.
Yeah.
The thing is with cities, this is important for pretty much every city in MUME is you have to know how city defense works, and Alistair actually taught me how the mechanics of the city defense works. So every time you're seen by a mob, if you walk into their room, I should say, then that summons like five patrol mobs. So, for example, in knock, you now that doesn't work for certain cases if they're stunned or otherwise, is slightly incapacitated. That doesn't work. So you've got to be good with your timing in order to summon just 5. And then kill them, but not kill all of them. Leave 1 alive, and then summon 5 more. And it's a process. But that's the same for pretty much all the cities. That's why you can't just walk into, say, the BWB or something and do all the mobs at once. You kind of got to do a bit at a time and rest and do more.
The Jazzry over here in chat saying, bring back all the scalps of all the city leaders of the West for an awesome reward. Just straight savage, bloodthirsty idea.
That's a fantastic idea.
That's
a fantastic idea. Plus, you can rent those, you can trade them, you could you could carry the scalp.
Fuck! I got 4 out of 5. I need.
I know. Yeah. You're like,
someone give me thorns.
Right. That would be really fun.
700 gold. That is pretty dope.
So
that's a great
jumping
idea.
around on this list a bit. None of us have talked about Frikra yet, and I know all of us love Frikra. I mean, that's one of my favorites. That's probably that and Gloom are probably my 2 favorites. Like, I know all of us love it.
I mean, I think it fits in with everything we've been talking about this entire time. Unique tactics, it's dangerous, and the loot's very good,
But you can't, unlike all of the other super mobs on that list. That one you can't take in a huge group and just, steamroll it. You have to use 2 characters, only those 2 characters. You can't swap people out. And you have to have the right kind of characters that can that can be effective against Fricra. And so much can go wrong because of the random movement and the webs, the cocoons, and the timing, and some of it is just down to luck. And of course, it doesn't always load loot, which I actually think it should always load loot. I don't think it
I'm
should,
with you on that one. It is dumb.
Yeah, totally.
It is dumb when you do a super mob and you don't get anything. That's just like, or you get
if
something
you sit
that's
there
crap.
for an hour doing Fricra, it should load loot. That's, should load the lore.
Yeah.
Totally. If you don't like, it makes sense that you don't always get healing lore. Okay, fine, but you should get, if you're not gonna get the premium tier loot, you should at least get like money. Like if it just loads like a Bjorn stored, you're just like, what are we doing here?
Yeah, full
Sometimes
metal
it loads
shield and 3 steps or whatever. Yeah.
I was gonna say sometimes it loads silver tipped arrows, but you could just do Amon a lot easier and get 12 of them, and that one probably loads once every 12 to 24 hours. So I mean, a lot easier to get steps there.
Yeah, but I've actually really enjoyed this. I think this is really interesting, and I think it's most interesting because unlike before, where usually when we're just like, I think this is a good idea. This has actually been pretty insightful, both from getting your guys' perspectives, but also like what chat themselves are thinking on what makes things what you guys enjoy, and then what makes them interesting super mobs. I am going to take this myself into some stuff to build in the future, and try to make some super mobs, or at least interesting mobs based off of this. They don't even need to be super mobs. I just think in general, any builders who watch this, you can take notes, kind of thinking of it from an old white perspective of just like, this is what makes combat or the PvE experience in MUME interesting. Because we definitely fall into that trap a lot of building just filler crap. So for me personally, this has been really interesting, and hopefully it'll pay off in the future, where we actually get to build some better super mobs and just mobs in general for the game. So hopefully this will pay off soon. We'll see, guys. If it does, you in chat can be like, yeah, that was my idea. That's why this thing has danger and it sucks and all this other good stuff. Or we're just going to release MN 2.0, and it's just going to be just double the size of MN with none of the loot.
MN's a cool zone. It's just there's not a lot of loot there, and it's so it's so it's
that's the real issue. If it wasn't
bottlenecky,
I mean, if it wasn't for the move drain, I think people would do it a lot more, even without the loot. But just the combo of just bobbing constantly or whatever.
We're pretty close to the end here. You guys got
We're
anything
wrapping up.
you want to wrap up with, or? Appreciate you guys enjoying this podcast. I'm glad you found it entertaining, even though we didn't have a spicy guest for you guys.
I'm good.
If you guys have ideas of, again, stuff you'd like to see in these podcasts, please let us know, because it doesn't have to follow a formula. This is very much just like, a couple of us have god characters, but we're not high up. We're not Rogan. We're very much low level stuff here. So this is mostly community led. If you guys just want to do something or want something, this is a good membrane, or is a membrane. What's it called when you have crossover and bleed into the different areas of MUME? Basically, if you guys want to see something or do something, let us know, and we'll see if we can make that happen.
Sounding board, maybe.
Kind of like sounding board.
All right.
Anyway.
Thanks, guys. See ya.
Yeah. Well, we're going to peace out. We won't do a hot take